y'all, welcome to Hobbies with Holly. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And this is the sign we'll be making today. So I got this round from Home Depot. All I'm doing here is lightly sanding it with a sandpaper block and then taking a very, very lightly dampened paper towel and wiping the dust off. And then I'm going to find the middle here. And I think I did 3 inches from the middle, so it was 6 inches total. And took my painter's tape and followed the line. These boards are like multiple boards glued together so you can see where the joints are. And I use those wood joints to follow with my painter's tape. Sometimes they aren't extremely accurate, so I always double check before you paint. But do use the lines, the wood joints as a guide because they are very helpful. So after I get this taped off, what I usually do, or most times, is add Mod Podge. Ooh, that paint was thick. I use Mod Podge, but I didn't here because the painter's tape actually, the kind I use, works really well. So I press down, make sure there's a very good seal, and then I go ahead and add my paint and throw that on there like you basting some ribs. And try not to go too heavy on the edges by the tape because you don't want it to seep through. And then while that is drying, I usually do 2 to 3 coats of the white paint. So while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start on my stencil. I just found a pineapple and then some writing, and then added the little lines for a little bit more detail. And make sure when you are going to print or to cut out your stencil that you double check that you have the right size and it will be printing out in the right area, because what you're going to see in a little bit is me making a mistake. Oops. But it's okay. It happens. So insert it in the machine and then let her go to work. Look at her. Look at that. Does all the work for you. Amazing. Peel that off. Excuse me. And I shouldn't put it away because as soon as you put it away, that's when you jinx yourself. And then here it is. Wait for it. I realized oops. Yep. Look at me. Trying to look like, did I really do that? Yep. Yep, there it is. Yeah, no, you don't need to show the camera. We see it. Yep. That's alright. We'll print out another one. So now here I'm getting my transfer tape, and I'm going to use the lines on my transfer tape to match up with the lines on my design. Because anything you can use to keep everything straight, like, use them. And I don't know where my little tool went, so I'm just using the lid of one of my storage containers to press that down. And there's the E, it finally showed up. And here I am finding the middle and slapping our stencil on. Looks so good. Using the painter's tape, which is straight, and the transfer tape and my decal, making sure everything is centered and level. And now here I am going to add the Mod Podge, just because the pineapple leaves, I didn't want the paint to seep underneath the stencil. So I did do 2 layers of that before adding my black paint. and I'm putting it in these cute little silicone cups. I got them off Amazon. They are amazing. You can wash them, reuse them. They're great. And there's my brush. Not really sure the name or the number, whatever brand that brush is. I don't know. I think I got it in one of those multi-packs. I don't know. That's the brush I'm using. So here I am. I'm going very lightly with the paint because I don't want it to seep. Looking like Picasso. Just kidding. Not close. And I try to brush away from the stencil, not to the stencil, because I don't want to push paint underneath. So I try to brush it away from the edge of the stencil. And then pulling it up. And look at how crispy those lines are. What? And I got so excited. I was like, okay, let me check my white lines. And then I was pulling up. And I try to keep the painter's tape. When I pull back, I try to pull it back onto itself, and then you get those crisp lines, except right there. But don't panic. Took care of it, handled it. Bing, bang, boom. Look at that, pulling it off. Ooh, crispy. Okay, so then you can see I put the other stencil down, did the other 2 layers of Mod Podge. Once those were dry, I went ahead and added my black paint. Now this looks really thick, but it's not that thick. It looks really dark on camera, but I ended up having to do 2 coats of this. And the key is I try to pull it off before it's fully dry, else then sometimes the paint ends up sticking to the stencil and you end up pulling the paint up like I did right there, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. So just repaint, gently try pulling up from another direction. Remember to try laying it as flat as you can when you're pulling it back. And worst comes to worst, just grab you a brush, grab you a paint, and just touch it up. No need to panic. Crafting is supposed to be relaxing, so just touch it up, keep it pushing. See, look at the top of that E. Ooh, that's okay, look. Get your brush, watch. Look, nothing even, look, can't even tell that was wrong. Beautiful. Took it outside, put 3 layers of sealant on it, protectant, and then I took some of this Gorilla construction glue. It was so hard to squeeze out of that tube. My hand was hurting so bad from the day before doing the other signs. So took the lid off, got me a shish kebab stick, and I was doing it this way, and it worked fantastic. So had a lot more control of where I put the glue, so I definitely recommend, instead of trying to squeeze it out and fighting with it, just get you a little toothpick or something, and it worked great. So here I am putting it on every other kukui nut. I didn't think it was necessary to put it on every one. Once the stuff dries, it's literally like cement. So I did every other kukui nut. And then that flower, that group of flowers I got there, if you see to the left of it, there's a hair clip. It was a hair clip, but I took scissors and pliers and was able to get the clip part off and just kept the flower part for my sign. And then that's basically it. Just added the rest of the kukui nuts, and yeah. Still gotta add the D-rings to hang it up and some rope, but other than that, she is done. So if you have any questions, please comment below, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, there she is. Alright, thank you for watching.